Hey everyone, Christian here from CK Wraps. So we're going to do this quarter panel here on this Camaro in Vivid Nardo Gray. This is a premium plus film, one of their newer versions of their films. Very easy to use, color looks fantastic in person, goes down really well. So a couple of things here on this fender, or this quarter panel, is that we have a really deep recess right under there, okay? So I don't like to bridge the gap. We're gonna lay it in, and my technique is gonna be a little bit different than the way you would do it if you were to just bridge the gap. So you might not like it. There is a chance of contaminating the film because I'm going to be lifting the film up and laying it in from the bottom, going from the top down. I've also put knifeless tape across the roof here because this roof doesn't really have a drip sill, and a deeper drip sill meaning that we didn't have a trim piece to remove out of here. The quarter panel and the roof, they're all joined together. Not that they aren't anyways on most cars, but it's all joined together with no trim piece in between, so we can't actually cut here without cutting on the paint. So there's knifeless tape there, and there's also knifeless tape on the inside of the door jamb. You're going to see that afterwards, how far in I go, so that we have complete coverage from the exterior looking at the car. That way we don't see any white. So we're going to start by removing the vacuum paper. I have the door open also, keep that in mind. Much easier to do with the door open. You can take the door off if you want to, but much easier to do with the door open. Eventually, guys, we will do door jambs, I promise you. I'm going to cut off this little tail end here. This is kind of just irritating me. It looks ugly. All right. And we're going to get to it. So I have the trunk open. You can do it closed or open. I find the gap is a little bit too narrow with the trunk closed, so I opened it. I'm going to take the film, roll the vacuum paper off very carefully. Stick that magnet somewhere for now. Just be careful. This is a big piece. We don't want to damage it. I'm going to do this for a moment and grab it from the bottom and keep this flat. There we go. As soon as we get it off, it'll be much easier. All right. We can start getting it going right now. So one advantage to having the trunk open is that you can do this, and it keeps the film very straight, as opposed to having this piece flop down, which would be a little bit more difficult when it comes to removing the vacuum paper. This just kind of keeps it more in a glass state right off the bat. So we're going to keep going down here. I'm going to move my magnets down over here. I'm just going to grab that guy just like that, all right? Keep moving my magnets down. And eventually, I'm going to get to this point right around here where I'm going to cut the vacuum paper off completely and then save this section over here for afterwards. Just because it makes it a little bit easier. It's one less thing we have to worry about. All right. This right here is a snitty. I've talked about it many times. Went out and got a couple because it's a professional tool, and I might as well make it look professional. So instead of using my blade all the time. All right, so we're gonna take the snitty, and just kind of hold one edge of the paper, cut that guy right off, right? Makes nice, clean, straight cuts, super easy to use. Gonna get rid of that. So just again, so you can see a little bit better and let that focus. There's your snitty. It's made by Martyr. No idea. I've seen a whole bunch of different versions of these things. They all kind of look the same. They all do the same thing. Just has a blade in there. You can flip it around, switch it up. You can use that blade pretty much 4 times. And not just for 4 cuts, until it wears out 4 times. All right. So we're looking pretty good. It's pretty glossed out. Not a lot of wrinkles in this area here. We're going to double check, making sure that we have full coverage everywhere. We look good. I'm going to start by hinging it somewhere around this point. you have to come down and start bringing this film into this recess. It's going to look really funny the way I do this. It helps to have someone on the other end to help do this. I actually had my wife help me do the other quarter panel. It just goes a lot faster. All right? And there's much less risk of contaminating the underside. All right, so we can hold this out. Again, trunk comes in handy. Just gonna tack it there. And just get a little bit more of this down here. Following the window edge. Eventually I'm gonna have to let that drop. So let's just do that. And I'm gonna close the shop door because there's too much wind. Perfect. All right. Again, I don't have to pull this film very hard. Just kind of lining it up, letting it drape a little bit in there. All right. You gotta keep it smooth. It's gonna be very important. Got a wrinkle? Almost. Okay. You don't have to do it this way, guys. This is just how I do. You can bridge this gap, push it in there. There is always risk when you do bridge that gap, though, especially on something like this. So hold that out. Try not to get your body behind the film. Stay in front of it, especially when you're doing something like this. So we have tension, which is being created all over the place right now, especially from over there. So we need to kind of come up here. It is a hassle, okay? But to me, this is totally worth it. This, if we were doing this panel in chrome, this is how I would do it. I would lay into this recess because if you were using chrome, it's literally impossible to bridge that. It's impossible to bridge that gap without hazing the film. And so it's kind of just laying in there right now. We can bridge some of it, okay? We don't have to lay in there lay the whole thing in there. We just don't want to bridge this entire gap right here because these are your high points. Pushing it in there is going to create a lot of tension. But now we're much closer, so the tension is actually going to be a lot less severe. Don't worry about the film getting wrinkled. We can always get the wrinkles out. It's not that difficult. Okay. I don't want to get it going up there. Just hinge it up there. And on top of that, this film is extremely vulnerable to is extremely resilient to damage, not vulnerable. The opposite of that. All right. So we've got most of that right in there. All right, that's all the way down in there. We got to worry about this part right now. I'm going to leave that be. Come over here, and what I want to do is get some relief going, all right? So I'm going to find the window. So what I said there is I'm going to get some relief going. I'm going to find the window, which is right there, and do that. Didn't quite cut through the film, as you can see. A little further. Cool. So, we're going to keep trying to lay it in a little bit more. Get that over there. Got a little air. All right. A little air bubble there. It's gone now. So now, what I want to do is I'm going to take this. Actually, I'm going to lay down a little bit more of this. What I'm going to do afterwards is I'm going to heat it here and take the stretch and bring it out. And then bring it around the edge. As soon as we do that, we're creating basically tension around the edge, and it's going to want to grab this edge, as opposed to creating tension the other way where it wants to spring out. Then it's going to want to grab in as we draw the tension out this way. Fix it up a little bit here. All right, cool. That's about all I want. Let's stick a little magnet there just to hold that. Get this back out. All right. My heat gun is right here for once. So as I said, I'm going to take this and draw it out. Around there, right? I'm going to heat on the top side, and see if you can get in there and get that wrinkle right there. We're going to heat that until that kind of just glasses itself out. All right. Just get those guys out there. Perfect. We can bring that, while we're holding it up, right to the edge, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is draw a little bit this way. If I was doing chrome, it would be something along those lines. And it would actually still be really hard to do this fender in chrome. I'd love to see one done without a seam. Let's do a little more heat. Oh. Got back there. Okay. Again, I'm going to draw it out. I'm going to draw it in this way, okay? Now you can see that I drew the film into here by pulling this way, okay? So where does that leave the tension? That leaves the tension pulling in this way, not the other way, not out this way. And that's the way that it's going to pop out. It will not pop out coming in this way. Now, if you don't relax the edge, it's possible that it will pull back, but we didn't really add a lot of tension at all. Most of it was right around here, and we pulled this way. Oh, tossed out. Get my hand under there. Just kind of hold it a little bit. Again, remember I said, you're going to be doing this alone. You might have to put your hands behind the film at a certain point. Just make sure they're clean. And if anything, where it matters most is around the edges, because the edges are what's going to pull back. If you get a little oil from your hands in the middle here, and it's flat and there's no strain on it, it's never going to lift. That's just how it will actually be. It will never lift, as long as there's no strain on it. You can put WD-40 on there, and as long as it's relaxed here and it still has adhesion around it, it's never going to lift. So as you can see, the tension right now is pulling on this edge. All of this is pulling on that edge right now. Kind of finish this off a bit over here. Perfect. Finish off up here. Add a little heat. All right. Down there, all right. Here we go. So now we're gonna have to draw all that down. But this is great right now. This is totally what we want. All these wrinkles on all these fingers are running across. We gotta draw the film down. As soon as we do that, they're all gonna go away. Just gotta level it out over here a little bit before we start doing that. The same idea, I'm gonna contour it around this way. And as we come and pull this way, we now have wrinkles running the opposite direction. There's the edge there. I'm going to get rid of some of this. Way too much. pull out, okay? Stick that to the window. I'm gonna bridge this gap. You can probably lay it in a little bit more. I'm gonna have to bridge some of it though. So again, by drawing the tension this way, which is what I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna heat it this way, it's gonna help bring the film automatically into that pocket. Apply even pressure. There we go. I can still lay into the gap a little bit more. Perfect. So that is all good. Go up here. Make sure we're good, no air there, all right? And guys, I've looked for a microphone, and I get a lot of comments on the microphone part, and I'm sorry, because I need a microphone, I need a wireless microphone, and they don't have wireless microphones for a phone, and this is what we're recording on right now. As soon as they get a wireless microphone for a phone, I'll have one, or I'm just gonna get a camera. I already got a camera, didn't turn out very well. I did one video with it, but the camera kept overheating, so we had to return it, and just haven't had time to camera shop after that, so I'm a little bit weary about which camera to get. If you guys know of any wireless microphones that work with a cell phone, please leave it in the comments below, because I'd be happy to grab one. I'm just gonna start doing all that there. Okay, that's good. Just want to finish it off, and now we can work down. So, start pulling on this, see? And all of a sudden, we got a lot of it out. We're gonna have to add a little heat just to balance it, but we got a lot of this out already. So guys like that over there. Add a little bit of heat just to glass it out. All right. Glass that side out. We'll just squeegee a bit of that so that it doesn't recoil and come back, just in case. Let's get those wrinkles out there. Perfect. Do the same thing over on this side. I got the fingers running across to the front door, which means we got to go this way. Cut across those on top there. We want to make sure we're not leaving any air on that corner. It's going to want to trap air a little bit more than other places, simply because it is a hard edge. So one thing I want you to notice is that where most of the stretch is around the center. We haven't really stretched the edges at all. So keeping that in mind when we're glassing out the panels and stuff, we're keeping in mind that if we glass it out all over here, then you kind of set yourself up down here for no wrinkles. And that means you're not going to have any tension on the edges. It's fine if there's tension here. Not a big deal. It's never going to pull back. Okay. Just trapping a bit of air, but got it out. So I'm just squeegeeing all the air. I'm not squeegeeing it down like this. I'm actually, the line right now is running, the air channel is right here, and it's a block, and I'm squeegeeing it down this way. So I'm not squeegeeing this way. It is getting it down this way also, but the angle's on such a sharp, the squeegee's on such a sharp angle that we're not going to be getting all jacked up with the air not releasing or trying to squeegee too much film at once where we start getting wrinkles. Okay? So as I get near the edge, we can elevate the film a little bit. There's the edge. Fix this up right here. Get a little bit of heat. A little higher. All right. Still after it out again. Cool. Don't be afraid to reposition if you have to. It's the whole point of this stuff. Is a little bit easier once you know you can reposition it pretty much as many times as you need to. We take this, and what we do is we spread it out, okay? For adding tension near the edges, you spread it out. You can use your arm too. This is another trick. You can go like this. And that, look at that, you get way more coverage, all right? So that's a trick there. Use your arm, you get way more coverage. Got a little bit of heat. Do it again, all right? Amazing. I didn't just think of that, that's been around for a while. Cool. Let's come down here now. So we gotta start a little higher up. And a little more, like that. Kind of, if you let the vinyl sit for a while, it likes to seal itself up a little bit. So you gotta sometimes just pull it back a little bit. That's even with Avery and stuff too, it doesn't really matter. Especially if you're working in a warmer shop or a warmer environment. Again, you can see I'm cutting across, all right? Cool. That is right there. I have masked the other side. The film does not want to stick to it. Gently take your blade, do that. Cool. We can tuck it in a little bit now. We can actually pull it out a little bit and then get it just where we need it right there, which is good. Hold it out, get your blade in there and be very careful. You don't want to slip. Cool. All right. So we got that there. Let's get that out of the way. Let's do all this right here. I'm just dragging my blade, okay? I'm not pushing hard. If your blade is sharp, you don't need to push hard. And that's the key right there, is to not pushing hard. If you push hard, you're gonna damage, you're gonna cut through. You can open that up a little bit, so I left it loose from when we did the rear bumper. I don't want to leave too much film in there. Cool. Let's get that out of there. Let's add throw a little heat at it. And get it down. The fun part about gloss is that it actually looks like a paint job. If you do a nice job. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna go back and forth. Got a little wrinkle on the edge there. I want to get that out. Just reheat it. Put a little tension on it if you have to, and then let it relax. Reheat it. Now, as far as cutting inside of here goes, I see a lot of questions about it. Guys, we don't need to go like to oblivion and beyond. We just gonna get that there because it folded over. We just got to go in so that we're covering. So on some cars, you're going to feel that lip end as you work the film inside. On other cars, it's going to be way higher up. So on this one, the front fender is like endless, while this one only goes in, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch. So what I usually do is I'll take it to that edge. If that edge is reachable, I'll take it to that edge. All right, and then when we cut, the film is just gonna, if we go past the edge and we hit the carpet inside or the plastic or whatever, the film's just gonna come back to the edge of where the fender is and where the high energy surface is. It's just gonna automatically come back to that. You're gonna take your blade, you're gonna poke it through, run your blade on the back. Done, all right? So we know we've gone as far as we possibly can to ensure full coverage. Cool? Just wanted to explain that because I know a lot of people have been asking questions about that. Get this down a little bit better there, all right? All right, so I'm gonna get to this door jamb here in a second. I'm gonna finish off the front pillar. Gonna remove my glove. So as you can see, the way I've cut this, that this doesn't even cut straight across right there. I'm about 4 inches short. That's no big deal. And this is the way I like to do these, because I like to contour them down and around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to contour the film down and around. Get the magnets out of the way. So I'll start contouring it somewhere around here. So we can make it a little more gradual. Okay? The reason why I like doing this is that the film wants to hug inside all these edges here, around the top and on the inside. It doesn't want to pull out of those edges, it actually wants to pull into those edges. You can pretty much do this without adding any heat. Okay? So hinge it so it doesn't go back. Again. Kind of probably just peel this off right now. This is just the way I like to do them, all right, guys? It's not, I mean, some people might tell you it's wrong. Up to you. You don't have to do it this way. You can do them straight across. I even do it like this with chrome. So with satin chrome or gloss chrome or whatever, I'll even do exactly like this on every single car. And it never, ever lifts. So now I have it hugging really tight on the inside here, which is perfect. Because I've drawn a nice smooth line with the vinyl itself and it's going to lay down really nicely on top of that knifeless tape. This is going to be a little more difficult. As you can see, we have slack. I have no slack here, so it's going to be easier. I just kind of messed that up. Normally I don't have any slack there, so I just didn't do that though with enough. I didn't draw from farther enough back. That's all. All right, we're going to tuck in there more before we cut. I'm just going to finish this off down here. So it's completely relaxed. I've only drawn tension up until about here. Completely relaxed. We're going to just finish this off. What I can do is create a relief cut over here. It kind of helps with that right there, see? Now, that had tension between, see that piece pulling, and then this piece being connected to that piece, it was drawing the whole thing in. Now I've did the relief cut and this wants to flop over. Just perfect. So what I've also done here is I've loosened a couple of bolts on the fender just to give myself a little place so I can tuck it in there. It's a white car. We need to cover a white car, so we got to go a little deeper than normal. What I do is I've masked off the opposing side, all right? I'm going to cut on the masking tape, find that edge. Don't go onto the fender itself because we've already wrapped it. Draw that out. And then find that line again, somewhere there. Draw that out. All right. Now I have all this film, a nice straight line that I can tuck in there. It might be a little excess. I'm going to actually trim off a little bit more than that. It's a little bit too much. Okay. You got to practice your skills, guys. You'll get better at cutting. When you're learning how to cut, practice on things that don't matter to you as much as maybe your brand new Mercedes. But if you want to learn this, you're going to have to damage something in a way. You don't have to, but it does teach you. All right, so we can push down in there, and that looks beautiful because I can not see any white, even as far down as I can see between that gap. So now that that's out of the way, I'm just going to remove the tape. I can get the edge. Perfect. All right, so we're going to go through this right here and get most of this tucked in. This trim piece ends right there. So what I'm going to do is find the edge, cut it down. That way that can come down, and then I can continue tucking all of this in, okay? We're gonna go pretty aggressively into a recess like this because we're covering white. We gotta go in deep. This piece is riveted on. I would normally take it off. On this car, it's not happening because I'm not prepared to re-rivet everything. So I'm just gonna do it like this, how I did on the other side, and it came out clean. I've also masked this edge right here. So you can see the blue tape, all right? I'm gonna continue. Just wanna make sure that's the metal, that's the window, we're good, just follow the line. Always double check before you cut. As soon as you cut, there's no going back, all right? So I'm pretty confident that's in there really well. I'll actually trim it on here, get it out of the way. And then tuck it, try to tuck it some more. Take your squeegee. If you can't get your fingers underneath it, you can lift it up with the squeegee, okay? Just helps get it off the tape a little bit better. And then we can make sure that we're good. We can also hold it up a little bit, especially around a corner like that. The trick to this is do go over it as many times as you feel like you need to get that in there and get it hidden. Because once you cut, it's finito. So we'll take our blade and run it in the recess. There's a little joint here, I have to go around it. There we go. So I'm running the back of my blade not on the pillar side, I'm running it on the trim side. So I only went back to about here, and there's a reason for that. It's because I can actually start lifting this up around here. This doesn't move here, it's really solid. So once I get up around this part here, I've already tested it and I've cleaned underneath it, obviously. So I know that I can lift the trim up and tuck underneath, which is what I would rather do. All right, so before we get into doing the door, because for doing the door, I'm gonna need to fix up this area here, and I want this already tucked in because I'm going to run the film inside as deep as I can. I'll leave myself a little excess. Be gentle with your blade. You can, if you're afraid to cut on it, do 2 layers of tape, do 3 layers of tape until you get comfortable doing it. Keep that in a nice circle. Let's get that out of the way. What I want to do right now, again, is lift it back a little bit and then tuck it right up to the edge. Make sure we're up against that edge, all right? Before we do any more cutting. So you can see it goes in a little bit deeper there. All right? Have tension here. So what do? We put a relief cut so I can see properly. All right, now we have no tension. Look at that, just all went down. Now I can see this line much better. I only need to leave. So here's a trick here. You can take your squeegee and you can take your blade and you can run your blade and squeegee at the same time. I don't love this idea that much, but it works. And kind of keeps yourself steady. So I'm going to just come up right now because I don't want to cut too much off. I'm going to come more around here. I'm just going to freehand this. That was just a little trick I wanted to show you. Cool. Nice and round. All right. So that was, I want to leave a little bit excess on that corner right there because think when I tuck this in, it's going to get all, I need a little excess on the inside. So that's actually a little too much. I got to come a little further this way. Get that out of the way, all right. All right, so switch spots. What I can do here, look, I can just take my finger and actually start lifting the trim. All right? I actually cut the film a little bit short there. It's going to go under the trim, but I want to fix it. All right, so I want to cut and stick this under here. I can use my fingers. I can use the triangle that I've shown you guys. My fingers are working right now, but I'm going to run out. We can actually even do this, lift it with one squeegee and just work it a little at a time. Be careful when you're doing this because you can create a lot of tension on the film. See? And rip it. It's kind of like the squeegee is, in a sense, cutting, going to cut through it. I have to release this off of it's actually on the trim because I didn't mask right to the edge. So it's sticking a little bit. But this technique does work. It's getting pretty tight up there, so what I want to do is grab the triangle, just a moment. Now these window trims are not all created equal. Some are very difficult, there's a little piece of film. Some are very difficult, some are super tight, others are a little looser like this. So sometimes you just have to trim it right on the edge, and to do that you got to be really precise. I couldn't really tell you which cars. I mean, I know one is a Toyota Supra. That was a pain when we did that. We had to cut it right on the edge, and it's scary. It was a white with orange over top, so it's risky, but we got it done. So yeah, so there we have all that tucked in. Go over this, finish that off, finish this off, and then we're gonna start going in to the door jamb right now. So I got a little too much film right now, as you can see. I'm gonna cut off some of this. This, because I contoured the film down, look, it's already kind of bending in here. It's great, actually. That's what you want to happen. Up here it gets a little funky and complex because of the way the shape of it is. I'm just laying the knifeless tape down better. I had a little tension on it, I think, so it was lifting up. So to do this, you want to try and squeegee whatever you can without using any heat, and we push, sorry about the lack of light, we push really firmly while we do this, okay? Because the squeegee's got to be really tight in there, all right? We've got to push the air out. We're going to go in about an inch total because we need to cover all the white that's visible from the exterior of the car. Where's my heat gun? All right. So now I'm going to add a little heat, especially right up around there, and keep a little tension on it. It's fine if we see white on the inside, so right on the inside there, that's not a big deal. If you're ever concerned about it, you could just slap a piece in there. It's not going to look horrible when you open the door. So we need to make sure that we're covering all of the knifeless tape. So a little more heat. So we push into the gap and then draw out from there with our stretch. One wrinkle here I just can't get out. There we go. Perfect. Still there. Let's see what's going on here. Perfect. Now it's good. All right, so we gotta just come over the knifeless tape. I see air. I just see air in here. If we don't keep this relaxed while we're pushing the film into this recess, it's just gonna create air bubbles. That's pretty standard with any film. So we gotta keep it relaxed, all right? All right. Let's get a little heat action going on. And knifeless, I might let it cool for a second, and then knifeless it. Okay. I still see air in here. Sorry, it's a little dark in here, guys. I don't know if you can see this or not. Okay, now we're 100%. All right. All right, perfect. So let's do this. Draw it out. The string broke because there's too much bunched up film up top. Let's get rid of some of that. They still have the string there. Trim out all this other junk afterwards. Perfect. Get rid of that, and that. And that is about how far in you want to go and how to do it. I'll trim off all this junk right here, this excess film. Right on the gap. Perfect. So when we close the door now, we're not going to see any white at all. When we do the side skirt, we're going to do it the same way. We're going to go exactly the same depth, right up to that edge, because this is the edge that's visible, this little piece right here. So as soon as you go right up to that edge, you don't see it anymore. I don't know if you're going to see it through here, but it's much darker up here, and it's a lot lighter down there. So, a couple more things. What else do we need to do? We need to do a knifeless on the roof. I can actually just leave this closed now. Good. We need to do a knifeless on the roof. We need to tuck in the rear windows and the front window. And then we're done. I'm going to, again, create relief here and push the film in as opposed to using tension or having tension on the film. And I'm just using kind of like a cutting method to my squeegee. Just like chop, chop, chop. We're gonna make sure that we overlap the black slightly, which we should be, making sure that we're covering the knifeless tape. So I'm going to use heat to ensure a little wrinkle there. Cool, that should be good. Let's get it going. Got too many things in my pocket. So here is the edge of the knifeless tape. I can see it, it's barely noticeable, it's right there. It's gonna run out and down. So what I want to do is draw this off a bit this way. Keep the film elevated, all right? There's masking tape there anyways. And we need to get the knifeless tape in again. The reason why I ran it out that way is because it's gonna get in the way of here where I've already masked off. So, we We all know how to do this. We're gonna give it one of these. Perfect, this is as far as it needs to go. All right, we got to pull the spring out, the rest of it. As always, there's two pieces, and we got that out of the way. Stick that, I usually stick that on some scrap. It's really messy. And we're gonna go over it with our squeegee. We have a nice clean line. Got a little excess here that I want to just trim. Cool, and we're good. So, I would lower the car, but there's no point because I have to do the side skirt. What I want to do for this area over here is, first of all, make sure that we have no air in here anymore, and we're good. We need to cut this. Too much tension going around the trunk right here, so I'm going to relieve that right there. Come around. Perfect. I want to hold this taut, and I'm going to cut it about as even as I can, about 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 an inch, whatever you want. Use my finger as a guide. Now I haven't quite finished it off over here yet. I just want to get that going so I can do this section over here. So again, I'm going to hold it taut, keep my eye on the line, come down a little further there, and get that out of the way. So I want to show you one thing here, that we have different types of corners, okay? There are these types of corners right here, which are angled outwards, and then we have these types of corners, which are kind of more rounded and angled inwards. So we have to, I'm just gonna cut some of this. So what we have to do is, or what we can do is we can do a cut and fold technique, and actually on an area like this, it looks totally fine. On an area like that, not as cool. And I'll explain why. So I'm going to heat this up a little bit, and what I want to do is get it around the corner. This is kind of like my little bit of a pre-stretch here. All right. Mainly, I want it nicely around that corner, because this is like your teardrop corner, and this is, I don't even know what to call the other corner. I don't have a name for it. I don't even know if there is a name for it. Somebody's probably got a name for it. All right. So I want to show you what's going on with this right here. So if we try to leave this much film all the way down here, we're going to end up bunching it up, and it's gonna get all these wrinkles, all these fine wrinkles. If we cut it really close, we'll avoid that. But we don't want to cut it too close, because first of all, this is not a commercial wrap. Second of all, we got to cover all the white. On a commercial wrap, cool, like I learned from Justin Pate, you can cut this right and close to the edge, and it eliminates you getting fingering and wrinkles. But another way we can do this is, and you can see because of my stretch down this way, it's already kind of hugging it, is that we can take our blade, find a good spot for it, where you're thinking about dividing this into two pieces, okay? We have a bottom piece and we have a top piece. We're going to take the bottom piece and we're going to fold it in, and we're going to take the top piece and fold it down. So you kind of want to find that angle, which I think is right there, where we're going to do that. So now we're going to just pull a little bit, all right? Just pull a little bit and get it down nicely. Same deal here. We're going to pull down a little bit, and you're going to see that you actually can't see anything. So let me just fix out the rest of the stuff here, because we need to do that before you even have a look. So I'm going to trim off the rest, and then I'm going to let you look. So you can see that I started again in the middle there when I cut. Okay, cool. I just folded that right there, that's fine. All right. I keep folding this edge here because my fingers are sticking to it. But I want you to see it where it looks, how it looks nice. So, right here, this corner is completely flat. Kind of let that focus. It does, yep. So you can see the seam. When we close the trunk, we don't see anything. When we open it up, we see a slight seam there. Most people don't know, and plus, look how weird the metal is here. So it kind of just fits right in. Fingering though, and wrinkles, they don't fit in with this, because there isn't any fingering in the metal, so it would never fit. But because we have a seam there, it does kind of fit the lines of all this stuff and all that and whatever. I mean, it's not consistent. Even down here, it's all bumpy and stuff, so it's just not consistent. And that's totally fine to do a corner like that. Then we have our corner on the bottom here, which I pre-stretched, and you can see that we didn't do a fold technique there, okay? Tuck and fold, I think it's what it's called. So we just pre-stretched it and made it look pretty. So when we trim off all of the excess here on the bottom, it's going to be very nice and round. There's not going to be a fold right on the edge. And like I said, you can't even see that fold, even though it is on the edge. So it's all about how you do it, guys. Little techniques and stuff like that go a long way. They make things a lot easier. So I'm going to take this, finish off cutting that. Perfect. And we're going to cut off the rest of the stuff right here. Just get that out of the way. And throw some heat at it. Get it all down nice and smooth. Sorry. All right, let's put this. Then we have a little air there. Just saw it right now. All right, got it. So we got this piece, which is just gonna dangle there, I think. Let's see. So you notice that piece wasn't going down, but if I cook it with a lot of heat, it's not going anywhere, ever. I just destroyed that. I destroyed the life in that. That thing's not coming back. This kept bouncing out, kept bouncing out. I just heated it up a lot, pushed it in there, and made it happen. All right. So we've got to do this. So this is a bit interesting. There's no seal here or anything on the inside of this rear window here. So there's nothing to tuck the film into other than underneath the rear window. We can only tuck in so far. Our tools are only so good at doing that. So we can only go in so deep. So what we do is we mask and we tuck in as far as we can. With our squeegee, and then we trim off and we leave excess. Because really, I don't want any white showing anywhere. So I'm just jamming it in. I can feel my squeegee hit the bottom. It's about where I want it. Now, I'm going to take this, pull it back a little bit so I can see the edge. That's my blade, it's right there. And I'm going to take my blade and I'm going to come on the inside and leave excess film. I'm running my blade on the glass. I can probably put the trunk down, it'll be easier for you to see. Sec. Let me just fix this up here. I'm going to tuck the rest of this little bit down here. We'll finish the window off. I want you to see it. I don't want to lose you here. Cool. Let's close this. Magnets out of the way. Yep. A little more light. Come down as far as I can. I've already trimmed off a bunch of it, but tension starts to get. That piece out of the way, and then I'm going to come on the glass side. Sorry, since I switch spots. It's a little hard for you guys to see, I know, sorry. Cut off all that excess film. Go ahead, push it all back down in there, and we should be pretty good. As far as not seeing any white goes down this edge right here, which I don't see any. It's kind of hard to see because there's no light. Let's do the front window, and then we're done, guys. Not sure how long it's been. I know it's been a while. This is the last piece. So this one has a rubber trim thing. I don't remember now. I'll have to look. Yes, this one has a rubber trim. So what we can do is, what I need to do is stretch that out a little bit. Get that down. So we like to push, I like to push the film right up to the rubber trim. And I'm pushing very firmly against the back here. Again, using the scissor motion, so that I'm making sure that I'm eliminating all the air that could be against this wall right here. You're going to feel yourself eventually hit that rubber seal if you're pushing hard, and I'm hitting it right now. And then what we do is cut in between that rubber seal and the window. And this is the last piece. Very gently, because I don't want to cut through that seal. I'm just letting the blade float in the gap. Now I use my triangle again, tuck it in there. Try to start around here. So get that guy under there. Keep the triangle on a bit of an angle, run it a few inches. Push down again with your squeegee. Didn't push hard enough there. go. So you can see I'm just running the triangle down. Be careful that there's not too much resistance against the triangle, because you could damage your window trim, your window seal. So there should be kind of a sweet spot where that window seal is, and where you can run the triangle. Run it back a little bit. Oh, just lost my squeegee. All right, here we go. Let's finish it off. I didn't quite finish it off at the bottom there. It's getting a lot tighter as we get down to the bottom. As far as getting 2 squeegees in there goes. I'm just going to push a little harder. Still. Start at the ends. Got it. Okay. Let me lift the seal back up because I pushed it down. Perfect. That is all good. That's done. All this is done. And after that, it's just the door, the side skirt, the door handle, and the mirror. So, I hope you guys enjoyed that video of the rear quarter panel. It is challenging, it does take a lot of work. Something around the same time frame as some bumpers. There are a lot of areas to tuck into and be mindful of when you are doing a panel like this, especially around the windows and trim, making sure that we're being thorough and exact with our cuts, that way we don't mess it up, because messing it up means you have to redo the whole thing. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit subscribe. I'm a little tired right now, it's late at night. And check out our Instagram at CK Wraps. Thanks everyone, take care.